In this video, we're going to show you how to install the fuel pump on your Subaru Outback located underneath the back seat. With the hood open, come on over to the driver's side here and we're going to open up our fuse box. There's two little tabs on either side right here. You're going to push those in and lift up. Now when you flip this over, it has a diagram of all of your fuses and everything that's located right inside here. Now you're going to locate all the large relays, which are these blue ones right here. There's 4 of them. And you're going to come over 2 rows, 1, 2. Now our fuel pump fuse is the 5th one up here. It's yellow and it's a 20 amp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to use a pair of pliers here and gently grab that and pull it up, straight up and out. And we're going to set that aside. And at this point here, we need to hop into the vehicle. We're going to go ahead and crank up that engine. And we're going to let that engine run until it starves of fuel and shuts itself down. That's going to help us depressurize the fuel system. Just going to go ahead and start up the vehicle. All right, at this point here, the engine decided not to start. We have depressurized the system. Let's go ahead and disconnect the ground terminal on the battery. These are 10 millimeter. Loosen up that clamp. Just pull that aside and set that aside. Go ahead and install a 20 amp fuse. Push that in. Make sure it's fully seated. We can go ahead and install the cover while we're here. You're going to install the back section first, and then bring down the front and snap it down, make sure it's secured. Now in the back side of the vehicle here, we're going to go ahead and start by moving both of your front seats as far forward as you can. Then you're going to go ahead and remove the back cushion here. How we're going to do that is we're going to reach underneath the front with 2 hands, right in the center of the cushion right here. Good, pull straight up. And we just release that. We're going to go ahead and do the same on this side. With that released, go ahead and take that cushion, lift it straight up towards the back. And release our seat belts here, pushing these through. And fold that up. And slide this out and set it aside. We're going to get to remove the round cover here. This is on the passenger side on the rear. We're going to use our Phillips head screwdriver, loosen and remove all 4 of these screws. We will be reusing these screws, so set those aside. And we're going to go ahead and lift up on this cover. If you can't get your fingers underneath there, you can use a pry tool or a trim tool to simply lift up on that gently. Now the harness comes through and it goes to this gray square connector. There's just a little push tab on the side. You're going to pinch it and wiggle this gray connector off, gently wiggling that upward. Now we'll go ahead and set that whole cover and harness aside. Now if you want to, you can go ahead and gently remove the foam gasket. You do not have to do this, but sometimes it is beneficial to move this out of the way, at least pull it forward. Because we do have to access the 8 millimeter nuts around the back side and around this perimeter. Now if you have debris around the top side of your tank, you want to go ahead and use a vacuum or compressed air, clean all that up because you don't want debris falling down inside that tank. Now we went ahead and we put a catch can in here because when we pull out our fuel pump unit, we want to go ahead and transfer it into that. I'm going to go ahead and drape a couple rags over so we do not get any fuel on the carpet. Next thing we want to do is disconnect the fuel lines here. I'm going to take an additional rag and I'm going to run it through, just kind of snake it around underneath to catch any leftover fuel left in those lines. Now on our particular vehicle we have these lime green clips. Normally you can just pinch them on the sides and lift up like so. If you cannot, you can use a small pair of pliers to pinch the sides. You can use a small pick as well to go ahead and release the clips on the side here. Now we want to slide these off. And you do want to make sure you're working in a well-ventilated area when doing this here. And you can see I'm wearing gloves. Just take those necessary precautions. Now we're on the perimeter. We have a series of 8mm nuts. I want to go ahead and loosen and remove all of those. We will be reusing that hardware. With that last nut removed, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of wiggle this a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pull this rag out from behind. We can remove our ring here. Now when you pull up on this here, it does have locator tabs. There's 3 of these here. I'm just going to set that over exactly how we had removed it. And on the top of our fuel pump, you're also going to have 3 locator tabs, 1, 2, 3. And when we install, you want to pay attention to the location of your hoses or the ports where the hoses will hook up to. Go ahead and lift up on this here. And as you come up, you want to give this a few seconds here to drain out a little bit of fuel. And on the side here, you're going to have your float on the side, so you do have to tilt this to the side to go ahead and remove it. And go ahead and put that into your can. Now when installing your fuel pump unit, you want to make sure that the float itself is not bent or damaged when installing this. So you're going to take the unit, you're going to tip it in at an angle and get that float inside. You want to make sure that your fuel lines are moved out of the way, and go ahead and lower this down inside. With that set in place, we can now install our lock ring. I'm going to line up the tabs on the lock ring with the fuel pump. I want to go ahead and press this down and start to install the nuts. I'm going to install a couple of these nuts here on that ring just to hold the fuel pump down. Once you have all of them started, go ahead and snug them down. Now that all those are secure, you want to go ahead and reinstall your lines. You're simply going to line those up, and you want to push those on. You're going to feel and hear it snap on and lock in, and then go ahead and press that lock down and snap it in, and do the same for the other one. And if you want to, give it a little wiggle backward. Yeah, everything is nice and secure. Good, bring your gasket around. Install the harness, push that down. You should hear it and feel it engage. Line up your cover. And go ahead and install your screws. And then go ahead and secure those down. You just want to gently snug those. You don't have to make them super tight. Now that we're secured here, our next step is to clear up all your tools and let's go ahead and install the seat. Now installing the back seat, on the rear or the rear portion here of the seat, there's going to be a little metal loop. Now on the vehicle itself, there's a metal hook. We need to go ahead and slide the seat down and underneath it. When doing so, you also want to go ahead and pull up your seat belts. Pull that stuff up and through. And push that down. And once that's in, you can reach around the front and you can feel where that tab is for our seat. Push it down into the body and then push that down. Make sure that's secured. And I'll go ahead and repeat this for the driver's side. Reconnect your ground terminal and snug that down. Make sure it's good and snug. Give that terminal a little wiggle. Now at this point here, you want to hop into the vehicle. Go ahead and start it up and go for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.